An entire season can change in a single play. And for the Toronto Maple Leafs, that has already happened. It wasn't a missed goal. It wasn't a defensive mistake. It was a collision, hard, sharp, violent, that could cost more than any tactical error. Because what's at stake now is the presence or absence of Matthew Knies. Craig Berube, the new commander of this emotionally rebuilding squad, was clear in front of the microphones. I don't know if it'll be healthy enough for Game 7. No phrase scares a fan more than that, especially on the eve of the most important game of the season. A Game 7, at home, against the Florida Panthers. And without knowing if one of their trusted men will be ready to fight. It all happened in Game 6, when the Leafs managed to keep their hopes alive with a 2-0 victory. The team imposed itself. The defensive system held the Panthers' offensive momentum. Joseph Woll was solid in goal. But even amid celebration, something lingered in the air. Knies had left the game with less than 14 minutes on the ice. Only 13:01 total time. To be exact, a number far below what he usually delivers. And when reporters asked why, the answer was in that second period play. A hard, reverse hit delivered by Niko Mikkola, the 1.93-meter defenseman of the Panthers. Knies tried to continue. He worked on the bench. He skated. But he wasn't the same anymore. His physical presence diminished. His shift shortened. And the coaching staff decided to rest him. Now, the doubt hangs in the air like the dense fog over Scotiabank Arena. And here, despite still playing at a high level, his absence represents a short-term. Matthew Knies is not a veteran, not a locker room leader with 2 decades in the NHL. But in 2024-25, he proved he is much more than just promising. He is decisive. A 1.90-meter forward who doesn't hide, who plays physical, who produces. In the playoffs, he's already scored 5 goals and totaled 7 points in 12 games. Against the Panthers, he has been a constant nightmare, with 2 goals and 4 points so far. During the regular season, he didn't disappear. Quite the opposite. He had 29 points in 78 games. A performance that consolidated his position as one of the most reliable pieces of the Leafs offense. The type of player who, in decisive games, can turn any shift into an impact play. And now, on the brink of all or nothing, he may be out. This is not just an injury story. It's a portrait of a critical moment. Toronto arrives at Game 7 after a season marked by ups and downs, but that ended with winning the Atlantic Division, a record of 52-26-4, a tough series against Ottawa, closed in 6 games. And now, the chance to reach the Eastern Conference Final against the Carolina Hurricanes is a win away. But the Panthers are no ordinary opponent. They were responsible for ending Toronto's dream in the last postseason. And now, they return as the obstacle between the Leafs and the much-awaited redemption. Every inch on the ice counts. Every line needs to work like Swiss clockwork. And losing Knies in this context is like losing a gear in the main engine. If you love hockey like we do, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Can Toronto win without Knies? Here, we go beyond the score. We dive deeper into what other channels don't show, and deliver the real drama behind the scenes of this franchise that carries decades of expectations, frustrations, and now a new chance. Berube will have to adjust everything. Maybe he'll need to redesign lines. Maybe he'll ask more from players like Marner, Nylander, or Tavares. Maybe he'll bet on an even more physical system, even without Knies. And all of this will be decided in the next 48 hours. The clock doesn't stop. The tension only rises. Scotiabank Arena will pulse on Sunday. The shouts, the drums, the ice cracking under the skates. But in the middle of it all, the Leafs locker room will have a question mark. Will Knies play? Will he try, even if he's not 100%? Or will he watch from the bench, rooting like another wounded soldier out of battle? That's the question that will follow every practice, every interview, every minute until the puck drops. And more than ever, Toronto needs to show if it can overcome obstacles, because it's not just the absence of a player. It's the ghost of years of disappointments. It's the shadow of a franchise that always comes close, but never quite enough. Will this time be different? Comment below what you think. Is this the move that will strengthen the team, prove their resilience, or will it be just another scar to carry into the summer? The Toronto Maple Leaf season has reached a critical point, where every detail can mean the difference between advancing toward the Stanley Cup and an early exit. The tension already surrounding Matthew Knies's physical condition, whose participation in Game 7 against the Florida Panthers remains uncertain after a heavy hit, gains an even more complex layer with the uncertain future of Mitch Marner, the team's star and creative engine. These two stories intertwine dramatically, representing the dilemma between the immediate present and the franchise's future. Knies, just 22 years old, has shown throughout the season and playoffs that he is one of the Leafs' main offensive contributors, tallying 5 goals and 7 points in 12 games so far. His physical strength, speed, and ability to score in crucial moments have made him a key piece for Toronto. However, the injury in the second period of Game 6, caused by a reverse hit from Panthers defenseman Niko Mikkola, has put him in a delicate situation. Despite strong determination to continue playing, Knies's ice time was drastically reduced, skating just over 13 minutes in total. For the Leafs, the absence or limitation of the young forward could mean not only a technical loss, but also a break in the offensive dynamic that has been sustaining the team. This physical vulnerability of Knies already puts pressure on other key figures of the team, and none is more important than Mitch Marner. In an already uncertain scenario, the talented winger's future is a question mark hanging over the locker room. Marner is in the final year of his lucrative contract and is undoubtedly one of the most coveted players in the upcoming NHL free agency. Analysts and fans closely watch growing speculation that the Carolina Hurricanes are prepared to offer a billion-dollar contract at a high level, represents a short-term $98 million, to try to bring Marner to their team. This is not just an empty rumor. In recent months, there have been talks between the two teams, especially when Carolina showed interest in trading their own player, Mikko Rantanen, and requested Marner in return. The trade did not happen, but the door was not closed. The Hurricanes represent a real threat to the Leafs, not only on the ice, but also in the off-ice battle for talent and financial possibilities. With a salary cap that allows them to invest over $29 million in reinforcements, Carolina has room for big moves, and Marner could be the missing piece to transform the team into an even stronger Stanley Cup contender. For Toronto, the challenge is immense. Securing a renewal with their star means holding the team's backbone, but it is a difficult game in such a competitive market, especially given the high value Marner may demand. While talk about contracts and trades unfold away from public eyes, the reality of the playoffs imposes its own pace and urgency. Marner has been one of the offensive pillars, accumulating 2 goals and 10 assists in 12 games so far. However, in the last 2 matchups against the Panthers, he hasn't even managed a single shot on goal, an alarming statistic for a player of his caliber. Coach Craig Berube didn't hold back constructive criticism, calling for Marner to be more aggressive and direct on the attack. For Berube, the intensity of the moment requires a player to take every chance, even those that don't seem perfect, always aiming to get the puck in the net. Sometimes, your best players want too good a chance instead of just putting the puck on goal, he said. The coach acknowledges Marner's talent and skill as a passer, but the need is clear. More shots, more attempts, more pressure on the opposing goal. This coach's demand is not just about numbers, but about the style of play that could define the Leafs' fate. At a moment when Knies might be out or limited, the responsibility to lead the attack and create chances falls even more heavily on Marner's shoulders. The pressure on the ice is mirrored off it in the contract and negotiation environment. Despite this cloud hanging over, Marner maintains professional composure and total focus on the playoffs. He has repeatedly stated he's not thinking about the future contract, that his mind is only on the current Stanley Cup chase. "I'm just here to play hockey," he said in a recent interview, making it clear the team's mentality needs to stay in the present, not in speculation. The Leafs face a decisive moment. After winning the first 2 games against the Panthers, the series turned and the Leafs lost games 3 and 4, tying the series. Every game is a tactical, physical, and mental battle. The absence of Knies and the pressure on Marner create a dilemma that only increases the tension inside the team and the stands. It's a story full of adrenaline, with very high risks and decisions that could forever mark the franchise's path. Now, the question hanging in the air, provoking the fan community. With Knies possibly off the ice and Marner on the brink of free agency, how will the Leafs reinvent themselves? Will this team find the strength to overcome these obstacles, adjust their strategy, and advance to the Eastern Conference Final? Or will this series expose the weaknesses of a team that may be on the verge of profound changes? We want to hear from you. Leave your comment and tell us, do you believe Marner will renew with Toronto? How do you think the team will react without Knies in the decisive game? If you're not part of our community yet, subscribe now. Share with other Leafs fans, and follow every step of this dramatic saga, because the season is far from over. New twists are coming, and you'll want to be here to witness them.